Then his future mother-in-law appeared at the doorway, unobtrusively studied the features of her son-in-law, and announced with all gentleness, "Why not adjourn inside?" So what happens now? And then his future mother-in-law, this woman, comes, appears at the doorway, means the entrance in the threshold, unobtrusively, very secretly, studied the features of her son-in-law, check the looks, check the appearance, features, what are the like any are there any kind of attractive qualities? These things immediately, like she gave a glance and son-in-law and announced with gentleness. Suddenly she says, because we remember they were sitting outside, right, of the house on a mat, and now she announces with gentleness, "Why not return inside?" Adjourn means come write down if it's a hard word for you. Close at the end of a session. Now the session is ended outside. They were welcomed inside. Now is the time they are welcoming inside. All this time it was those, they were kept outside in a way. They were not welcomed inside. Uh, Even the other guests see, right? Not. It's kind of little different from the ways of our culture, right? Our culture directly we invite, or we just and just treat them or things like that. And it's not the same way there. It's like for a while they stay outside, then after that, once I think the requirements are fully filled, satiated, they were called inside, right? So why not adjourn inside? Like, yeah, come in. In other words, right? Addressing no one in particular. I mean, everyone was sitting outside, so everyone is invited, kind of indoors. Whereupon the master of the house rose to his feet. Master of the house is the father of the girl, saying, "Why don't you all come in? Yeah, let's go in. Let's go in. Why don't you all come in?" Which was again a kind of code. There you go. It's again a kind of a code. Means how things work there. Uh, Although everyone was fully aware of the purpose of the young man's visit, one had to view it casually, neither side displaying too much interest or anxiety. Even this is a very important selection day for Jagan, as well as the parents, as well as the girl, the bride. Everyone acted casually. Everyone didn't feel, I mean, like, didn't show, display kind of anxiety, right? This approach is always kind of a informal, there was a kind of element of informal appearance, but the matter is seriously formal. The core is seriously formal, but the outward appearance is informal. I mean, like they act like casually, right? Neither side, no, none of the side, either Jagan's side or the girl's side, displaying too much interest. That can be a disqualification as well. If you are going to like show too much interest, that doesn't work that way, right? That's not a part of the code. So they are maintaining a code as well. Right? Yes, one had to view it casually. Neither side displaying too much interest or anxiety. Everyone sitting on the pile got up. Now everyone from the rug stood up from the mat. They were sitting on a mat. They stood up, right? Pile means that. Jagan's brother, a born diplomat. Jagan's brother has a way to him. I mean, like born diplomat. He is very good at handling these situations and very mature in a way. Not like Jagan. He's a born diplomat, was the last but one to respond. He's the one final responded, right? Last respond, and the last was Jagan, though he was burning with impatience. I mean, like Jagan was burning with impatience. Jagan was thinking like, when can I go inside, right? And when can I see the bride? I want to see the girl. I want to see the girl. That's what his instinct is. His inner calling is, right? He's very impatient, but he has to be the last. So he's behind the brother. So brother is a kind of a diplomat in a very kind of a what you call indifferent way. Indifference means not showing your agitation or not showing your mental anxiety. In an indifferent way, he's approaching this. Though Jagan is not. He was worried too, lest he should perpetrate some silly faux pas and become a disgrace to his family. Uh, he was worried too. I mean, like Jagan was worried too, uh, as lest he should perpetrate some. Perpetrate means write down if it's a hard word for you. Perpetrate, commit or perform an act of, especially a negative act. Perpetrate. Can perpetrate a crime too. But anyway, right? Perpetrating means like commit or perform a kind of a negative act, right? So Jagan was scared as well. By mistake, will he do something silly that would reflect negative on the family as well? So he has to be extremely careful too, right? As a grooming, some silly faux pas. FAUXPS, we call it faux pas, right? Write it down the meaning. If you don't know what is faux pas, write it. A socially awkward or tactless act, a gaffe or a slip is called a faux pas. A socially awkward or silly act is a kind of a faux pas, right? And become a disgrace to his family. So you can't be that. You have to be formal as well. Jagan knew that. Whose previous experience in such matters was none too happy. I mean, when it comes to Jagan, this is not the first time he is going to see a bride. There have been several times, few times before. That's what we come to know him. But was none too happy. It didn't reflect good in Jagan. It didn't reflect good in family as well. I mean, like in other ways, he maybe acted little silly there, acted too anxious. Right? He's kind of unsettling when it comes to the subject of women, seems, right? Jagan had become an eligible bachelor 3 years before, had inspected 4 would-be brides so far. There you go. 4 women, 4 brides. He had gone there and just, maybe like this situation right now. Previously, there were 4 times. He's repeating it for the 5th time. And the other thing was like he had become an eligible bachelor means a person suitable for marriage. Eligible means suitable. Bachelor means unmarried person. So he's a suitable unmarried person in a way. A boy good enough to get married, eligible bachelor 3 years before, 3 years back, right? And now has checked 4 girls so far, 4 brides so far, but neither didn't work good. That's why he's here. Unless he would be married almost right now. On 2 occasions, he had kept staring at the girls in open mouth wonder because they happened to be stunningly ugly. I mean, like the 2 occasions, right? Jagan was staring at the girls, ogling at the girls, maybe kind of mouth open wonder because he was so surprised. They were stunningly ugly. I mean, like they were really ugly, right? So he was, oh my God, can this be some kind of attitude, right? Was evident in his face, staring, didn't work well. On another on another occasion, he undisguisedly watched the legs of the girl as she walked in because she was reputed to be lame. The other girl, he watched at the legs of the girl. I mean, like that's kind of weird, but this girl was lame. I mean, like පොඩි කොරයක් තියෙනවා. ඉතින් කොරකාක යද්දි ජේගන් බැලුවේ මේ උඩ ඒ කියන්නේ මේ උඩ ෆිගර් එක දිහා නෙමෙයි කෙලින්ම කොරේ දිහා සෙන්ටර් කරලා ફોකස් කරලා කොරේ දිහාම බලන් හිටියම that's not a good the idea doesn't reflect good, right? So that's a foul pas. That's a kind of a silly mistake, right? And so it didn't go as well, it seems, right? Was reputed to be lame. For these lapses, he had been severely reprimanded, right? reprimanded means scolded, chided in a way. When he was gone home, I mean, like the elders maybe reprimanded him, right? Scolded him, has given him a good warning. That's the idea. And his action went into the repertory of family jokes. I mean, like repertoire, right? Repertory of family jokes means if now this is become a family joke. I like everyone knows this in the family. When there's a family occasion, this is a joke. ඒ අපේ කොල්ලා ගැල්ල මේ බලන්න ගිහිල්ලා ඒ කකුල් දෙක දිහා බලන් හිටිය කියන්කෝ something like that. I mean like ඒ පිට පොඩි ළමයට පොඩි කොරයක් තියෙනවා. මූ එන කොහෙවත් බලන් ඉන්නතු ඒ ගැල්ල මේ කකුල් දෙක දිහා බලන් හිටිය කියන්කෝ කොරේ දිහා. ඉතින් එහෙම නම් මගුලක් හරියයිද? That kind of a joke, right? I don't know, something like that. So this has been a one joke, as well as the staring at that ugly girl, right? There were two instances. They all become family jokes. Everyone was laughing. For everyone, for even the reader, for us, it's a funny thing, right? I mean, like, imagine now Jagan's family. Isn't that a funny thing? Repertory of family jokes. Whenever his maternal uncles or other from his mother's side arrived and gathered after dinner in a courtyard looking for scapegoats for their gossip, invariably Jagan supplied the text. So what happened? So when uncles and aunts, right, uncles and aunts from the mother's side came, and they after some, arrived, gathered, have dinner, and there's things to talk after talk. If they want some, some kind of a gossip, a scapegoat, always a scapegoat is a victim. Here is scapegoat is a Jagan. When they want some entertainment, they take up these incidents, past incidents of Jagan Manamaliyo balanna giya hati, right? And just kind of joke. In other words, what you call is like, even you have this experience, right? Some of you may have it. Bite එකකට ගන්නවා දැන් කවුරුත් ගෙදරට ආපු මිනිස්සු කාලා බීලා ඉවරනාට පස්සේ අනේ Jagan Manamaliyo balanna giya hati bite එකට අර ගන්නවා. I think just like Jagan becomes the scapegoat here, right? He is the victim. Maybe it's the same thing with you. Have done something silly things, and when your aunts and uncles come, maybe your parents also, Tintinge veera kriya කරපුවා ඇතිනේ නේ ඔයාලා ටින්ටින්ලා නේ කරපු වීර ක්‍රියා හැම ඇතිනේ ඒවා ඉතින් එළියට එනවා ඒතකොට ඉතින් රෙදි නෑ දුන් ඇඳගෙන ඉන්න බෑ සභාවක් මැද. Certain things are here, right? Jagan supplied the text, means Jagan has been victimized there, right? Everyone was laughing. Such an embarrassing situation for a boy, right? Imagine. This time they had tried to prevent mistakes by sending this elder brother to chaperone him through his delicate mission. Now this time they have this elder brother, right? Just to make sure Jagan don't do any stupid mistakes as he used to do previously. Now just to make sure that he's chaperone. Chaperone, underline you if you don't know what is chaperone. It's like who wants to supervise a young person. It's chaperone. Actually, chaperone comes from the idea that in old days, even nowadays you can see it, but in Victorian England, especially when a lady goes outside, a young boy or a young maid, someone always follows, because that Victorian kind of a morality, Victorian kind of a attitude, right? A young boy or a young maid always accompany this lady. So that's called a chaperone, right? So here is kind of different. Here is a boy who is Jagan, but just to inspect Jagan and keep him company, instruct him, just to make sure that he maintains the decorum, maintains the code, maintains the ethical line of things. So what happened was Jagan's family now sends the elder brother with him through his delicate mission. The brother was certainly not giving to spare the authority vested on him. The brother was certainly not going to spare, means brother is very tight. Brother is very authoritative, and he didn't give chance to any mistake. He's very formal, right? Certainly not going to spare the authority vested on him. He's acting like a boss here, like a control freak. He's controlling Jagan, in other words. glance, a look, just to make, just to answer, he has to look. Jagan has to look to the brother, give a glance, then the brother gives a nod, then only Jagan can speak. Can you remember? Right? Authority rested on him. He was keeping his eye on him. Brother was surveilling Jagan, commanding and manipulating him, and narrowing his eyelids and opening them wide. Commanding and manipulating him means commanding, give orders. Manipulating here means kind of control by narrowing his eyelids. Eyes are the contact language, right? Narrowing and eyelids and opening them wide are messages to Jagan. If the brother does like this, is a message. If the narrowing eyelids is another message. It's like eye language now, right? Because you can't say things. Eye language itself, the language, right? So that's how they communicate between elder brother and Jagan. Now, next they were all led to a central hall of the village home. Now they came into the hall, the middle part of the house, of this village house home. In honor of this visit, many cluttered benches, rolls of bedding, and other odds and ends had been moved to a corner and covered with a huge carpet. I mean, like there was a lot of space made in the middle of this hall of this house. How all the things were that in the hall, right? All the equipment, all the tools, all the I don't know, right? There's furniture, things like that, were all moved aside and covered with a huge carpet. It's covered in a corner. You can see that, but it's in the corner. But in the middle, anyway, you have the space. That's what you do, right? When there's occasion. Huge carpet. On the floor was spread an enormous striped carpet. Yeah, in the hole, in the floor, you find this enormous, big, colossal kind of a carpet. Incense sticks were lit so they overwhelmed the smell of the cow shed in the backyard. So now there are incense sticks. You know, this they emanate a kind of fragrance. They give you a good aroma, but this aroma is against a smell of the cow shed in the backyard. There's cows in this backyard, in this house. Write down a cow shed. What is a cow shed? A barn for cows, called a byre, right? Yeah, a barn for cows. So the idea here is, cows are sacred animals for Hindus, and they keep cows as if we have pets, right? We have pets like we have dogs and cats. Imagine they have a cow shed, a special made house, a barn for cows, and they feed the cows. Or just what's the other purpose of? They get milk, right? They get cow dung for fertilizers, natural fertilizers. So it's a good way, right? So smell of the cow shed in the backyard, but all the stench is covered with the aroma of the incense sticks. These fellows from the city are fussy and don't know how to live with domestic animals. Her father had said. So Jagan's wife reported later in life. Jagan's wife, sometime later, now it's a futuristic kind of technique, right? So we are going to the future for a while. In future, Jagan's wife, now Jagan is married in the future, says these words: these fellows from the city. Who are the fellows from the city? Probably Jagan, right? Probably Jagan and anyone, any prospective candidate that comes to visit and see these girls. These fellows from the city are fussy, are very picky, choosing kind of people, fussy, and don't know how to live with domestic animals. For them, this is not appreciated. They live isolated. They don't like. So for them, living with domestic animals side by side is a way of village life. It's a set of values for them. But for the town people, it's not the same. They are kind of a posh. they are kind of they have their ways, so they don't like to be totally live side by side with nature. So that's why they are fussy, according to the girl's father. Right. Domestic animals. Her father had said Jagan's wife reported later in life. Yeah, it was said to Jagan later by the wife. Anyway, for Jagan, the scene was heavenly. Anyway, for Jagan, wow, wow, it's like the scene was perfect, magnificent. He felt a momentary satisfaction at the thought that all the preparations were for his sake. And Jagan felt like, oh my God, all these preparations, all these people are because of me here, right? මේ මං වෙනුවෙන් නේද මේ මෙච්චර මිනිස්සු මේ දේවල් කරන්නේ. That thought itself kind of sparks Jagan inside, kind of agitates Jagan inside, gives a good feeling for him, right? He feels good. The scene was heavenly. It's a momentary satisfaction. The thought itself was a very satisfying thought for Jagan, for his sake. If it was his brother-in-law, brother who was the controller, even brother was controlling. He is the actor here, right? He is the most important person here. Everyone knows it, but no one says it, right? But Jagan knows it as well. But doesn't matter, the brother is controlling and everything, not his problem. He is happy. They showed him a seat and the rest arranged themselves around. They showed Jagan a seat and the rest guests of the house, the hosts, sat around him, right? Themselves around. They settled around Jagan. Jagan kept thinking, and now Jagan was falling into a line of thinking. We find even in the old days, very young days, Jagan had this ability of this thinking, right? It's an introvert. With so many around, my view is going to be obstructed and then no one should blame me if I demand a second appearance. There could be no such thing as a second appearance, but his imagination was running wild. I mean, like now Jagan is a little upset, right? People are just sitting around him, maybe a elder person in next to him, front of him, and everyone is kind of around him. So now Jagan, if the girl is moving in front of him, can't see properly because this sight is kind of obstructed. Just like imagine you are in the cinema, right? Film බලන්න ගියාම, if you sit on the seats, right, some empty place, it's good, you can see the screen. කොහෙන් හරි සෙට් එකක් එනවා, popcorn කකා Coca-Cola අරගෙන ඇවිල්ලා ඉස්සරහින්ම වාඩි වෙනවා. කොහොමද ජොලිය? හිතනවානේ නිකන් just like කොහෙන් හරි වාඩි වෙන කොහෙන තැනකින් හරියටම ඇවිල්ලා ඉස්සරහම වාඩි වෙන්න ඇවිල්ලා තපින්නේ, just like that's the attitude, right? That's you get irritated because you are there just to have a good scene, just a good visual panorama. Same way, right? You have to understand this context, right? It's a day-to-day things. In other words, I'm showing the context. That's it, right? And so Jagan wanted to, just like imagine he's here in a movie theater, right? He want to see the scene clearly. And some guys are coming and sitting around him, just makes him upset, right? Now, if you just obstruct my vision, and if I cannot see the girl clearly, I want to see the girl for the second time. Thinks Jagan, right? මේ මොන විකාරයක්ද මේක මේ මට එක පාරක් දකින්න හම්බුනේ දරොත් මම ආයි පාරක් මට බලන්න ඕන කියලා ඉල්ලනවා. His thoughts are saying to him, right? But can you do that thing? No, it's only just it pops and it goes, right? It pops and it disappears. It's like you don't have even that much time in these traditional marriages, right? At least in our cases, right? The girl comes in front of you, gives you offers you some betel leaves, things are there. At least then you see the bride. But here it's not like that. It's kind of different. You'll see this, right? So you have very limited time just to see the girl. And Jagan is very upset about it, and he thinks, yeah, I want a second chance. I want to see again if I couldn't see. But there's nothing like that. But his imagination was running wild. There you go. Some voices approached, and Jacob Stephen resolutely avoided his brother's glance. I mean, like he heard some voices, and Jacob Stephen means stood upright and just like kind of arranged himself in a posture and just like focusing now where does this voice come, right? And he was not even looking to his brother. He's so excited now. What's going on here? Jagan Stephenens resolutely, with a resolution, avoided his brother's glance. Means he deliberately didn't want to see to his brother. He was looking what's going on in front of him and just, where these voices come from. The harmonium sounded mysteriously somewhere inside. Harmonium. What is a harmonium? Write it down. Harmonium. It's a kind of a music instrument which is air is forced through. Air is gone through this instrument. It's like organ. Harmonium. You call this in Sinhala Serpina. You just have to push air, right? And then you have to press the keys. At this occasion, there was a sound of a harmonium. Sounded mysteriously somewhere inside. In this occasion, there was a harmonium music, right? Some kind of harmonium music. Somewhere inside. And to the accompaniment of his discordant notes, a slightly masculine voice, he was to become familiar with it late in life, sang Tyagaraja's Telisi Rama Chintanamu. Whatever. Right? It's a tongue twister. Always I just fumbled. My Telugu, my Tamil is horrible, right? I apologize for that, but you have to bear with me, right? A sang around this harmonium is played somewhere inside, and kind of a masculine voice, a kind of man-like voice, like little dissembled man-like voices. Some women have man-like voices, right? And sang for this accompanying of his discordant notes. I mean, like there's this discordant note means it was not so compatible, right? In voice and these kind of superstar competitions, some singers come and sings, then the judges say, ඔයාගේ pitch එක පොඩ්ඩක් out. වෙන අවස්ථාවක් ගන්න. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ අවස්ථාවේ දෙවෙනි වටේට යවන්න බෑ. තව අවස්ථාවක් වෙන දවසක try කරමු. Right? සුබ කියලා සුබ ජය කියලා යවනවා. Right? When the pitch is out. There's discordance here. The same way is a kind of small pitch problem here. Right? That's the idea. Discordant and notes are slightly masculine voice. This girl was singing in a kind of a little bit of manly voice. Sang Tyagaraja's this song, The Power of Very Thought of Rama. It's kind of a religious song, right? Ambika is singing with the harmonium. She felt so shy to sing in the presence of so many. So she is singing in the room. She can sing very well. I have got a teacher from the town. The father mentioned. That's Ambika singing in the room. Ambika is shy. When there are so many people just around just to come down and sing, she felt a little shy. So she is singing from the room. So you can hear it. Says the father, Ambika's father. This girl's name is Ambika, we comes to know, right? Anyway, we know that from the very start that Jagan marries this girl. So, of course, right, that's how he remembers he's still under the lowly statue, if you can remember, right? This is a flashback. Again, so this is the funny part. And she can sing very well, says the father. Then if she can sing very well, why is this discord? Right? These are another questions we have to ask as readers. And not that all. The father mentioned place 6 miles away that a teacher comes and gives individual tuition, I think, singing classes and playing classes, harmonium classes to this girl. So that's, according to their culture, is the important thing. A girl should know these things, right? Uh, in Indian culture, yes, I mean, like in Indian culture, this aspect is there. Even in our cultures, we have this, right? Some in some houses, in some households, girls are specially taught how to play the piano. Piano lessons are given, right? So why does a girl is given piano lessons specially? What's the purpose of it? Just entertainment, right? Just to be this kind of a way of being social. It's again a ritual, kind of a mating code. And the underlying, the bottom line is a mating code, right? This dancing skills, music skills, cooking skills, and knitting skills. These are all associated with this marriage, the ritual of marriage. We'll come to that later. You'll study those things, yeah, further when you go for higher education, especially in humanities, right? We'll keep that this for a while. So aside for a while, and they mentioned the place 6 miles away. Jagan was certainly not in a critical enough mood to say they should have spared themselves the trouble. Jagan wanted to say, Jagan have this, we have this neurotic kind of a thing in him, right? Why spending money, this much money to give lessons, right? It's useless. I mean, like, she's singing out of the pitch, right? In other words, he didn't say anything. He can't say anything, right? He say anything, that will be the end of everything. So he has to keep his mouth shut in the first place. Um, anyway, the music ceased. Now the music stopped. After some time of the harmonium played, the music stopped. Serpinav Gahali, right? There were there were stirrings inside. Some arguments and protests, and then a little girl with tightly plaited hair emerged, grinning with the comment. Yeah, now there were some stirrings, means Jagan could hear some kind of arguments, protests, and stirrings. Stirrings are kind of disturbances. ඇතුලේ මොකක්ද එනවා, right? And there were protests. මට බෑ. අනේ අම්මේ යන්න මට බෑ. Some kind of protests inside that house, right? And then a little girl, a small girl came, right, in front of the crowd with tight-plaited hair, tightly braided hair, just like, it's like tightly braided hair, means tightly, it was, braided, means like gotapu kondak තියෙන පුංචි ළමෙක් පුංචි කිරි පොඩ්ඩක් එනවා ඇවිල්ලා සභාවට ඇවිල්ලා, just like Ambika refuses to come out. She feels shy. Ambika කියන්න ලැජ්ජයි වගේ. Just something like that is said to the crowd, right? At which all elders joked and laughed, right? At this statement, everyone in the crowd, the seated, right? Elders, it's a joke, right? Wow. Everyone just started laughing, right? At this. And the master of the house raised his voice and called. Master of the house means who? The father. Ambika. Father. Right? Ambika, come on. There's nothing to be afraid in these days. එළියට එන්න කෙල්ලේ. Ambika කෙල්ලේ. එළියට එන්න. බය වෙන්න එපා මේ දවස්වල, right? That's like, it's nothing. Just come out. This is the father, right? Try to visualize this. And he addressed the woman inside in a general way. And father said to the other woman, right, in the house in general way, don't make fun of her. She will be all right. මේ තමමුලා මේ අම්බිකාට විහිළු කරන්න තියාගන්න එපා. She'll be okay, right? Just don't do that. After this preamble, write down what is a preamble. It's a hard word for you. A preliminary introduction is a kind of a first introduction, right? Jagan gets this preamble. After this thing, a tall girl emerges swishing her lace sari. A tall girl comes, very tall girl, swishing her lace sari. Swishing. What is swishing? Swishing means that when something moves fast, the air swishes. When you are hitting a ball, squash, right? Why you call it squash? You are hitting it hard. Yeah. Then the racket goes swishing. And sometimes when the sari, some ladies wears this sari, right? They have this swishing kind of a sari pota gannawa shush shush gala sari pota yanawa, right? I mean, like, this is very thing. I mean, like, I'll tell you an incident, right? There was a new teacher who attended our school, sometimes a very new teacher, and her sari was kind of crisp. She was wearing a sari very crisp. Sari nikan hari hadadasi wage කියන්නේ hari, that's the material, I don't know. And when she walks, she has this swishing kind of a movement, right? And sometimes she takes that each part of the sari and sari potara mehema gannawa eka nikan swish wala. I was having it was the interval time, right? And she was just passing me just to it was in the staff room, and she was going to have a glass of water from the filter. Ara yana gaman shus gala sari alut teacher kenek ithin ara eka nikan ara me A4 sheet wage me sari, right? Ara shush gala gatta. I was having mage bella just like, I mean, like, it went so fast, right? It's like I almost touched myself and just made sure that I was not bleeding, right? I mean, like, I felt like some kind of blade or some kind of sometimes you get hurt if someone moves a A4 sheet, even a paper, or just some even a paper. If it's moved very fast, it can hurt you. So that's it. මම හිතනවා මගේ සාරි පොටට බෙල්ල පොඩ්ඩක් කැපෙනවා වගේ අතගාලා දුන්නු ලේනවාද කියලා. I mean, like, that's kind of the idea I want to go is like this swishing. I mean, like, this sound goes some. I mean, like, you have to imagine, right? Emerged, and this girl emerged swishing her lace sari. This just with the sound. Swishing her lace sari, facing the assembly and smiling. Now she's coming, this tall girl, and just smiling at the assembly. And Jagan's heart gave a thump. Oh my God, Jagan's heart gave a thump. Ding, right? It's like there's a huge beat inside Jagan's heart. Not at all like the photo. So tall. I can't believe. That is not the girl in the photo. She is so tall. Polka sahib kitnu sai, right? Ini gala mene photo ekak hiti. Ek taller ekak wage neme. Just like something like that, right? Can't believe. In other words, Jagan is confused now, right? Yeah. The master of the house saved further speculation by announcing, and the father continued to announce, "She is my first daughter. That's my first daughter who came right now, this tall girl." Jagan was so impatient, he got the wrong impression that it was Ambika. No, it was not Ambika. It was the first daughter. And the tall girl said, what does this tall girl say? Okay, Ambika is coming. Ambika is coming down, right? The rest, Jagan did not hear. The rest, Jagan did not hear means Jagan's ears were locked. කනුත් අගුළු වැටුණා. කොච්චර එක්සයිටඩ්ද කියනවනම් ජේගන්ගේ කන් දෙකත් අගුළු වැටලා, right? The rest Jagan did not hear. He lost interest in the tall girl who was only a sort of advanced guard for a young sister. දැන් මෙහෙමනේ. පෙරහැරෙද්දී එකපාරට නිලම ඉස්සරහින් නෑනේ. නේ කස්සකාරයෝ එනවා, ගින්නි බෝල කරකවනවා. ඊට පස්සේ සත්කාර නැට්ටු ටික 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 ගාල් නටනවා, right? ඊට පස්සේනේ නිලම එන්නේ. එහෙමනේ පෙරහැර යන්නේ. මේකත් ඒ වගේ පෙරහැරක් තමයි. එක පොඩි ගෑනුවක්. Then comes the elder sister. Then she's announcing, yeah, Ambika is coming, right? And Jagan lost interest on the other things. Jagan doesn't want these introductions and me gini kelli kasakaru eva balanda Jagan to ona na Jagan to ona then kelima nilame balaganta igonawadina, right? Just something like that. He is waiting now. He is impatient for that, and he lost interest in the other things. Taking detail. And what happened? Who came with a downcast, girl who was he lost interest in the tall girl who was a sort of advanced guard for a younger sister, and now comes the younger sister, who came with a downcast eyes and bowed head and moved across the area so fast. Bowed eye, I mean like downcast eyes, look down, doesn't look anywhere. She's kind of shy, and a bowed head is bent down and moved fast. Woof, woof, in front of Jagan. और सुपरसोनिक जेट आ गया बुफ उड़ बैलो मैंने जेट गीला something like that, right? And who came downcast eyes and bowed it and moved across the area so fast that Jagan could not take any detail. I feel like Jagan missed having the details. In other words, Jagan couldn't scan very well the features. But what he saw was very little. Not short, not tall, not fat, no puny. උසත් නෑ මිටිත් නෑ තඩිත් නෑ කිට්ටුත් නෑ. That's the kind of attitude Jagan got at the first glance. Jagan could not arrange her in any clear outline. Jagan couldn't get the outline of her, the figure. Jagan couldn't get an idea of it. It was too fast, happened too fast in front of him. The details overlapped. Details means overlap means what's in the photo is little different now, overlapped. But producing only impressions of an agreeable nature. But anyway, is an agreeable nature. Not that fat, ugly girls or just one with the lame leg. No, not like that. He kind of liked, agreeable nature. It's okay for him. And not provoking aversion as on the previous occasions, and means not provoking aversion means kind of dislike or kind of a disgust inside Jagan as in the previous instance. Right? How is she to know what I look like if she flits by so fast? Flits means dart, scuttle, just like suddenly quick. Jagan thinks like, if she is walking like that, even I couldn't, take a full glance at her. So my question is, how did she get a glance at me? Did she see me? Thinks Jagan, right? Jagan speculated, thought. I don't care what my brother is going to say later. For the present, I am going to stare, gaze, and study. Forget this brother, right? Jagan thinks to himself, this elder brother, forget him. I don't mind what he says. I want to study, I want to look, I want to gaze. What that? As they can balandone, windinone, make a Shungare Rasaninone, right? And he's focused on. I get a bamboo hagan again, just like I don't care, right? What he says, I want to enjoy the moment. That's what Jagan thinks. Going to stare, gaze, and study. I don't care what anybody thinks. I don't care what my father or family thinks. I am going to look. Lassana de ගැන ඇස්ස දිලායයි විසිතුරු සිරි බරලෝයි, right? Can't control it. That's what Jagan thinks, right? She had a thick wad of weavy hair. Wad means like it's like a pack. It's like a bundle. Wad means just like a bundle. She had a thick wad of weavy hair means curly hair. Her hair is nice, very thick, very strong. Weavy hair. Plaited and decorated with flowers. It's plaited. Gotala tiyenne. Malut gahala tiyenne. Decorated with flowers. And many pieces of jewelry sparkled in her person. She was wearing so many other jewelries as well, right? Indian style. Right? Other jewelries, maybe gold rings, gold bangles, gold chains, these earrings, dangling earrings, right? It's not said, but anyway, a lot of jewelries here. She wore a light green sari which suited her complexion. The sari is a light green sari, and that very well stress the skin color. It means like it matches the skin color of Ambika. Right? Complexion. Was she fair or dusky? Was the girl the white skin, white or dark? Dusky means little dark. He couldn't. How could I say? How could I see that thing? He moved so fast. His vision was clouded with a happy haze and might keep peering at her whole day with none to disturb his study. Peering means look searchingly. If someone gave him a chance, he would do nothing but just look at the girl the entire day. Because he's happy. Kind of a happy haze, a happy mist is taken possession of him, right? Kind of he's in a happy mood. It's a happy haze means kind of, right? Kind of fog is taken, a smoke kind of put him onto a spell. Now he can stare to the girl and study and without being disturbed by anyone. අනිවිසලෝචන පූජාවක් තුනත් කරන්න පුළුවන් ජයගන්න, right? Yet he could never clear his doubts about her personality. But yeah, what kind of a woman is this? Appearance okay, but he was thinking like, what kind of a lady is this in the first place? Personality, he has no idea. How can you judge a book by its cover? Cover is attractive, but what's inside the book? How's the personality? You know, right? Some girls are there, very beautiful, very nice, very attractive. නිකන් සැලොන් එක වගේ නිකන් ඒ තරම් හැඩයි. සැලොන් ඇවිදින සැලොන් එක වගේ. කට ඇරියොත් සමහර වෙලාවට එක්ක තඩි ගොන් කතාවක් එහෙම නැත්නම් කාට හරි පනින්න මොකක් හරි කියයි. You have to run to the hills. You feel like you want to run to the hills to survive. පන්න එපා කියලා දුවන්න හිතන වෙලාවට. You know, that's why we can't be sure of a personality. Right? At the same time, there are good girls also. So Jagan is wondering about these things. What kind of personality may be there? During these muddled moments, during these confused moments, she shot one lightning glance at him, which somehow through the face coincided with the look he was himself shooting at her. Suddenly, from somewhere distance, the girl gave a lightning kind of as Galavila and Kelly Helena kind of a very sharp look. Got the sita salitavana look එකක් දුන්නා ගෑනු ළමයා ජේගන්ට. ජේගනුත් ඒ වගේ ලුක් එකක් දුන්නා ගෑනු ළමයාට. දෙන්නගේ looks දෙක එක මොහොතක සමපාත වෙනවා. ත්‍රිකෝණයක, you know, in mathematics like those things. ඒ වගේ glance දෙක සමපාත වෙනවා එක මොහොතක, right? Lightning glanced at him, which somehow through the face coincided with look he was himself shooting at her. Their eyes met. Jagan's eyes and the girl's eyes met. And Jagan's heart palpitated and raced. Jagan's heart palpitates. You know, this love, dub goes fast. It's like palpitating means, you know, this kind of a movement is there. Right? It's throbbing, in other words, palpitating. And raced, the heartbeat raced, is excited, in other words. And before he could do anything about it, it was all over. Gone. Finished. One second. Everything is like a dream. Finish. It was all over. The assembly was on its feet. The assembly is over. That's it. Finished. No talking. No associating. Nothing. Assembly is over. People were leaving and vision was gone. අනේ ඔක්කොම ඉවරයි. අපරාධනේ. Just like everything vision was gone. So suddenly it was all over. All through their journey back now, So Jagan is going home now with his brother. All through their journey back, Jagan remained pensive, in a thinking mode, in a brooding mode. In a way, Jagan is thinking now. His brother did not try to disturb his mood. The brother didn't also disturb Jagan, right? ඌ මනෝ පාරක් ගහනවා නම් ඔන්න ඔය ගහක් දෙන් කියලා මහා එකක් ඉන්නවා දැන්. අයියත් ඉන්නවා, right? Disturb his mood. Their train was due to arrive 2 hours later, but the double bullock cart had put them down at the little railway station before sunset and had returned to the village. The train has to, they are early in the station. They have to wait 2 hours. The double bullock cart who took them from the station to the Kuppam village house has brought them early and dumped them in the railway station and gone early. So now they have to wait 2 hours for the train. Jagan sat on a weighing platform. He sat on the platform, right? Looking away at the range of mountains beyond the green fields, so he can see all this green scenery around in this village, and he saw the green fields in front. His brother, who was pacing up and down impatient, he was walking in the platform. He was walking up and down, up and down, up and down. He's thinking, I think, right? Impatiently, stopped by for a minute to say, Jagan is sitting in the platform, and he stopped to say, why should they have dumped us down here so early? Brother is impatient, and he asked, why did they just put us here too early? We have to wait 2 hours for the train. Jagan merely said, what's Jagan's answer? They have their own reasons, I suppose. I heard the young fellow say that the bullocks had some difficulty at night. Jagan is talking in favor of them now, the girls' party, right? Yeah, they have their own reasons. යාලට ඉතින් මොකක් හරි හේතු ඇති නේයි අපිව මෙහෙම දාලා යන්න. මට ඇහුණා අර මේ ඒ හරක්ලට රැට ඇස් පේනවා අඩු හින්දා තමයි මේ වේලාසනින් අපිව දාලා යන්නේ නැත්තේ කියලා කවුද කියනවා මට ඇහුණා. Young Jagan says, you are already assuming the role of the spokesman. Does that mean? දැන් උඹ උන්ගේ තෝල්කයද? දැන් උන්ගේ තෝල්කයද දැන් ඔය කියන්න මට. උන්ට කඩ යනවද දැන්? In your words, right? You are already assuming the role of their spokesman. Does that mean so you are talking for them now? Asked the elder brother. Jagan nodded an assent. Jagan gave an kind of an assent somewhat slyly and stood up and asked eagerly, right? And he got up from his platform where he was seated. How will they know? Should we not tell them? Now, how will they know if we don't tell them? I'm like, how are we going to confirm these things now? We also have to say that we like it, right? Unless they don't know. How's the procedure is going to be? Now, Jagan is little inquisitive. He doesn't know because it's totally arranged by the elders. Jagan is there only as a form of, he's a small cog in the big machine. Actually, it's a big structure. Even this marriage is for Jagan. His activities are very limited. His freedom is very limited. His decision makings are very limited. Right? That's how it goes. So, will they know? We should not tell them. His brother stood stiff and said, his brother was very firm and said to Jagan, I hope you have not been a fool. Telling anyone that you like the girl. One doesn't cheapen oneself. තමුසේ මෙතන මේ ගුණාට ඇන්දේ නෑනේ. තමුසේ කාටවත් කිව්වේ නෑනේ තමුසේ කෙල්ලට කැමතියි කියලා. තමුසේ නෝන්ඩු උනාද කියලා. That kind of attitude is what the brother says here, right? Don't cheapen yourself, right? Don't tell anyone you like the girl. Just don't go to that extent. There's a way to handle these things. Says the brother, right? That's the idea here.